So I moved schools, and for most of my life, I've not been a good student. But I had this huge goal that I really wanted to achieve. I wanted to get straight A's for the first time in my whole life. And so every weekend, I would wake up, and just for an example, on Sunday, I would wake up, work 1.5 hours, and then take a 1 hour break repeatedly throughout the whole day. I was so locked in, I couldn't believe it. I did so much work, and I ended up getting really good grades. I got the straight A's that I'd always dreamed of. Now, I realized something later on, but basically what happened is I took a holiday and I was still working pretty hard. But on this Saturday, I went out, and first I met up with my friend and we went to this person's house party. And it was kind of just starting up, but my friend and I, we were there on the balcony, and she was like, "Oh, I'm not really feeling this. I don't really know that many people, blah, blah, blah." We decided that we were going to go out and meet up with a bunch of our other friends who were out that night. And we ended up going to meet them. And I remember I went into 7-Eleven to buy a drink. And as I came out, I saw my best friend chilling there with a drink as well. So I was super hyped. I just saw my best mate. I didn't plan for him to be out that night. I saw him a couple days ago, but I didn't think he was going to be out and about. So this guy who I haven't seen in a long time, but I'm on holidays, I'm catching up with him, and I'm super happy to see him. We end up going out that night, and I had an amazing time. But basically, the next morning, him and I had planned to wake up at 8 a.m. and go kayaking. 8 a.m., but we're literally out at the middle of the night laughing about how we're not going to be up at 8 a.m. the next morning. But we tough it out, and I end up waking up at like 8:30, and I call him. I struggled my way out of bed because I was way too tired to go hang out with him. But I get up anyways, and I head off on like a 20-30 minute drive to go get in the sauna with my super close friend. And we're sitting there, and we go to this like kind of pool area. And I tell him something. I said, "You know what? I'm really proud of everything I've achieved. I've been working really hard, and I'm really proud of myself. I've been filming a lot of YouTube videos. I've been studying a lot. I've been going to the gym a lot. I've done all these things that I always really dreamed and wished I could do." But I said to him, none of it means anything if you don't have good friends around you. None of it means anything if you have no social life. And I told him that last night I had the most fun that I've had in months, just because I went out that night. Just because I was out meeting a lot of people with my good friends, I had more fun than any of the reward that my goals had given me. And basically I set on this path where I decided, I want to start doing this in Australia. I lived in Australia, but I was on holidays overseas where I used to live. And I was like, I want to have the same social life in Australia. I decided to do something. I reached out to every friend that I knew lived in Australia. I spoke to all the people who I spoke to at school, and every person, I just started talking to them. I was like, yeah, we should set a night out. I just started doing this all the time. I started trying to go out and do as many things as possible. And the night that I realized that things had changed was right after me and my friend went out. We bumped into his ex and his ex's friend. And basically, me and my good mate, we'd gone on this awesome night out, and we hung out with these two girls the entire night. And I think, hopefully I remember to put a photo up. I'll put one up again. But I had an amazing time, and I realized that throughout all this time, for like a month at least, I'd been trying to get out, do things, meet new people, have good experiences again. And I'd managed to make it work. And this all happened because I believed that I was a fun person, and I believed that I could have a good social life again. And I want to talk about the social skill that nobody realizes is important. It's your belief of yourself. It's your self-image. I'm going to teach you how to fix your belief system. There was this one time where basically my good friend of mine, she told me, "Oh, have you met her? She's my really good friend, blah, blah, blah." She told me about this girl. And so one night I was out, and there was like a group of 20 of us, and we all used to go, maybe even more than 20, 30 of us. We all used to go do something over the weekend. It was mixed guys and girls. It was a really fun experience. But basically, we were at this area called Stanley, and this girl, she ended up like walking past me, the girl that my friend had told me about. And she was like, "Oh, are you Finn?" And she was very warm. She was like very sociable. And we ended up having a conversation together. She really carried that, to be honest. Like, I had no social skills at the time, but she was just really friendly with me. And I ended up texting her a lot for the next few weeks. And basically, the group was going to meet up again at this other place called Repulse. And instead of, just going and like seeing her when we were out, I messaged her and I said, "Oh, do you want to come meet up a few hours before at Repulse?" And she came. We ended up both sitting there. And it became clear to me, in hindsight, that she liked me. But in the moment, I was sitting next to her. We were talking, like, it was clear as day that she liked me, but I had no idea that she did. And I wanted to share this story with you because it made me realize that you can never ever rise above your belief of yourself. At that time, I believed I couldn't really get any girls. I thought we were just friends or something. And the reason I thought this is because I had a poor, I was still very young at the time, and I also had just had a poor, social experience with most of my life so far. And especially with girls, I had no good experiences with girls before. And so because I hadn't had any good experiences with girls before, I acted in a way where, because I believed I couldn't get girls, I acted in a way where I missed a really nice opportunity to maybe get something going with a girl that I really enjoyed spending time with. And so my point that I'm trying to make here is that if you improve your ability to believe that you could do something in the future, or to believe that you are sociable, then you can instantly skip through a step that most people will never, most people will get stuck trying to make new friends because they believe that they can't make friends. But if you just believe that in the future you can make friends, if you're watching videos like this and I tell you it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you struggle with, you can still make friends, then you're starting to build this belief that, oh, actually, maybe I can have a really nice social life. Maybe I can have really nice friends. And so my second thing that I'm going to share with you, there's a lot of advice I could give you. So message me on Instagram if you want. Subscribe if you're liking this video. Click the button right now. But something you can do is, so basically there was this one time where I was on my Snapchat, right? And I was just bored as shit, so I was scrolling through. And this is right after I got back. Remember earlier I said I was in the sauna. I realized I wanted to have a social life. So a couple of weeks later, I'm chilling, I'm kind of bored, and I'm like, fuck, I want to change my life again. I want to have a social life in Australia. So I was scrolling through my Snapchat, and there was this guy that I knew, and I wasn't that close with him. I honestly wasn't close with him at all, but I liked the guy. I thought he was a nice person, and we hadn't been in touch for like a year. But I just messaged him. I say, "Hey mate, how you going?" I have a light combo, and I say, "Oh yeah, we should," because I remember that he lived pretty close to me. Because, we used to speak decently often around at school. And I messaged him and I was like, "Hey, do you want to just play tennis sometime?" So we ended up having a really nice hit. And basically, I felt closer to that guy than ever before because I'd gone out of my way, hung out with someone one-on-one, had a great time. And the only thing that changed, I just messaged him. It was honestly, it kind of broke my mind a little. I didn't understand. How is it not, how does that work? And that's when I learned something really big. Even if you feel like someone doesn't really like you, or even if you don't think you're super close friends with somebody, the number one, the first step you need to take is to just try and just reach out to people that you talk to sometimes. Because no one's ever going to feel upset that, oh, you invited them to hang out with you. Oh, you like them. People aren't, unless they're a dickhead, people aren't going to think that you're weird or anything. That's not how it works. And learning that, realizing that was huge because I started to reach out to a lot more friends. And it ended up really well because I feel like I've reconnected with a lot of my friends in Australia who I hadn't seen in a long time. I feel like overall, I met a lot of new people and I've had great social experiences there since I had this intention. In the sauna, I was like, remember, want to change my life? And here, I ended up doing it. Now, I understand this is hard. That was a very vague topic. So if you have any questions, bro, feel free to message me on Instagram. It should be in the bio. Subscribe right now. Have a great day, brother.